All right, hello art people. Welcome into another video. So far we have drawn our background for our Suffix frog pond. We've learned about suffixes and then we picked out some adjectives to go along with our suffix of choice. So in mine I picked EST. So I did fastest, so I'm going to put the fastest frog here, tallest frog here, calmest frog I've already done. So if you have not yet labeled your lily pads where your frogs are going to go, you can go ahead and do that. Now, for my tallest frog, I'm going to be doing this one right here, but you guys are welcome to do any frog you want. You can draw straight from your brain, or you can use a reference image that I've given you in your packet. But if you'd like to follow along with my tutorial, you are welcome to. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start drawing on my left one here, and I'm going to draw my tallest. So there are two things that I always like to do when I draw. Number one is get a reference image. Check, got my reference image. And number two, I like to break things up into simple shapes. So my first simple shape is going to be my belly. So I'm just going to draw an oval. Just a really simple shape for my belly there. And the next simple shape I'm going to do is another oval, but this one's like laying down. We'll see, that's a little big. And I always draw my simple shapes really lightly. That way if I make a mistake, like I did here, see how I made that oval a little bigger than I wanted? I can erase it. And then the next simple shape I'm going to do is just a couple rectangles for the legs. I'll make the rectangles a little smaller at the bottom, so it's technically a trapezoid. There's mine for the left. And I'll do it on the right now as well. So just down, down, over, and over. Okay, now I'm going to do some simple shapes for my arms. So right where the head runs into the belly, that's where I'm going to do my first arm. Just like we did with this frog here. We went right where that neck would be if our frog had a neck. Anyway, I'll do this one on the right. I'm just going to do a rectangle going down. And then a rectangle going up. It kind of makes a V shape here. And for this arm, I'm just going to do one long rectangle. So this one doesn't really have an elbow, so it's just the one rectangle instead of two, split up by an elbow. So here we go. I'm just going to add that there. Okay, good. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is just, you guys know, anytime I draw something on top of something else, that's called overlapping, I erase whatever I covered up. So for instance, in this one I covered up some grass, so I need to erase that grass behind the head. And I think I'm going to have this plant here is going to be in front of him still. So instead of erasing the plant, I'm actually going to erase this part of his head. In fact, I'll just erase all of this part that was in the plant. I don't think I'm actually going to draw any of that because it'll be behind him. Or it'll be in front of the frog. Okay, good. Oh, and then this part of the lily pad, I don't need that because my leg covered up the back of the lily pad here. Oh, and this belly covered up the lily pad there. Okay, there we go. And then I might just kind of redraw all those lines in case I accidentally erased them in my erasing escapade there. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we can go ahead and just start adding some of these other elements that our frog has. So for instance, we can do two circles on the top for the eyes. So here's a circle, just like we did on this one here, right? And here's a circle. I don't get to do all my circle because that plant's in front of him. And then I'll go ahead and give him a smile, maybe about halfway up his head. Like that. And then maybe I'll give him a belly as well. So maybe about like half of a finger in from our main circle. Like about this far in, we can start our belly. So this is just a letter U shape. And you know what? My belly actually covered up my line here that split up the grass and the water. So I need to erase that, don't I? I forgot that we covered that up. So that's got to go. There we go. Now he's in front. Okay, good deal. And now why don't we add some little fingers to our froggy. So we're just going to go over to the right hand first. I'm going to draw a little loop for the thumb. And then a loop for the rest of the hand there. And then I don't need to do my left arm there, but if you need to give your little guy a few fingers, you can go ahead and do that. And now I'll go ahead and work on my legs. Now, first I'm going to turn these simple shapes into more organic leg shapes. So I'm going to just start at the top left of my rectangle and I'm going to curve down. So I'm just trimming off part of that. See how this is more of a curve line? Curve that and then get rid of that corner. There we go. We can do that on both sides actually. So just curve it, get rid of that corner. Okay, we're just turning these more into frog leg shapes. And then we can just go down, give him a little corner there where his knee is. And then back out, down and back out. There we go. So just taper that in a little bit. Okay, now I think we can go ahead and draw the little toes, right? So let's go ahead and just draw 3 little U shapes for each foot. 1, 2, 3. And we did little circles on the ends of our toes over here. So you're welcome to do little circles on those if you want. Okay, good. And you know what? I think that our arm should be more of a frog arm now instead of the simple shapes. I think it's time for us to change that. So first, let's just turn this top line into more of a curve. And then we can curve in for the elbow and then back out to the hand. And then erase that part of the simple shape. There we go. And then for underneath, we can just kind of wrap around, do more of a curve line for that. There. So it's really useful that we had those simple shapes there. Even though we end up erasing them, they're really helpful because they just help us remember how big we wanted the arm to be and where we wanted the arm to be. So it's nice to just take things step by step. One step at a time. Okay, it's looking more and more like a frog, right? So let's go ahead and we can do another circle inside of our eyes. So this is the white of the eyes. And then we can do another circle, and that is the pupil of the eyes. And then we can do a little circle coming out because we can leave that blank. That's just going to be the white part of the eye. There we go. Like the little shiny mark, I mean. And then you can color in the pupil, every part of the pupil except for that little shine mark. And we can actually get rid of this bottom part of the circle now, just like we did over here when we did the eyes. And get rid of that. There we go. Now it more pops out nicely, right? And then I only had to do one side. You might need to do your other side of your eye too. Okay, what else should we do to this? We could give him some blush if we wanted. We could give him little upside down raindrops for the nostrils. We can go around and give him some little spots, like in our reference image. Okay, there we go. And then also, if you guys wanted to give him his little umbrella, we can do that next. Does that sound good? So I think the main simple shape is going to be an oval again. Now I've got to make a decision here. Do I want my butterfly in front of this umbrella? I think I do. So I'm not going to erase my butterfly, even though it kind of could be covering it, but I'd rather the butterfly. Oh, sorry, simple shape, oval. And then you can just kind of do a sideways V up here. And that will be the part that we chop off. There we go. And then we just need a stick that goes down into the hand and goes out the other side of the hand. And anytime we want to make a shape out of a line, we just add a line that's the exact same next to it. And now we've turned that line into a shape. And shapes are a little easier to color in than lines, right? And remember, we're going to be coloring these with chalk pastel, so it's easier to have shapes than lines for that. Then if you wanted to add some details to your leaf umbrella, you can do a little curve line here. You can make the sides more curved if you want, the corners. And you can draw some little lines going out from the middle line. And then if you want this leaf to be in front of the grass, which you probably do, you can erase that grass that's in there. But again, I think I'm going to leave my butterfly in front. There we go. Okay. And then the last thing I like to do is just go over all my lines, because we do a lot of erasing when we draw, or I do anyway. So it's nice for me to just go over all the lines that I want to keep, because I might have accidentally erased some of the lines that I wanted. Let's kind of go over those. I'm going really gently with my pencil. I'm not pushing down hard or anything. That way when I go to color, I can remember which lines I want to keep. Okay, there we go. All right, and that is it for this video. In the next video, I'm gonna draw my frog that is gonna be the fastest, and this is gonna be a frog that's jumping. I think I'm gonna do maybe this one, or actually I think I'm gonna do this one, but I'm gonna try to make the style match more the ones that I have here. But I'll be inspired by this picture here. So that's gonna be in the next video. So good job, you guys. Thanks for watching. Okay, that's gonna be that. Hello, everybody. Okay, I'm gonna take a little break, drink my coffee, not ignore chat for a second. Let's see what I missed. It's still fun when people are like, OMG, there has to be something super real going on there. It's locked down, so secure, so others don't steal interwebs because ET is out there. Extraterrestrial life is out there? Is that what you're saying? Okay, I hope they like that video. My tallest guy. He's like being covered up by this plant. Okay. I'm going to do the video for the fastest, and then we'll be able to check that off of our list. And then I think I'm going to do some... I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a break from like teachering though, and do something for me. I'm trying to decide if I want to crochet on stream or if I want to draw on stream, like what I want to do for my work break. But I'm just going to draw. I'm going to go ahead and draw my fastest frog, and then yeah, we'll do something else. I don't know what though. Okay. Okay, I think I'm ready. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay, I'm going back to this one. Okay. All right, hello art people. In our last...
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Bye. Let's try that again. Okay, art people, in our last video, we drew our tallest frog here. Or I drew my tallest frog. You might have drawn a different frog that matched your lily pad. Now I'm going to draw my frog for my third lily pad. So we're all going to draw our third frog together. You don't have to draw the same frog I'm drawing, of course. You'll want to draw a frog that matches your adjective that you chose. But I think I'm going to be drawing this one here on page 5. But you guys just draw whatever frog you want as long as it matches your adjective that you've labeled the lily pad that it's going to be on. Or mine's actually going to be kind of jumping over it. Okay, so you're welcome to follow along if you want. Alright, I always like to do two things when I start my drawings, and you guys know this. I like to have a reference image, check, and I like to start out with simple shapes. So let's go ahead and do that. So my first simple shape is going to be my belly, so the body. So I'm just going to draw an oval for this body, and that just tells me where I want it to go and how big I want it to be. And my next simple shape is an oval for the head. So I'm going to just draw that. And my reference image, it's a heart, but I'm kind of giving it my own little spin. So it's not going to be exactly like my reference image this time. And then my next simple shape can be the leg. So I'm just going to draw a rectangle going out for the top leg, a rectangle going out for the bottom leg, and then I can have some rectangles for the arm as well. Rectangle in the front, and a rectangle behind his head there. All right, very good. And I'm not going to do this little dragonfly, but you definitely can, of course. Okay, so the next thing I think I'd like to do is draw some simple shapes for the eyes. So I'm just going to draw 2 circles. Again, my eyes are going to be different than this one. I'm going to do the eyes like I've been doing for these guys so that all the styles match a little bit. So I'm going to draw 2 circles for eyes. Okay, good. And now I can go ahead and take the next thing is we erase anything we covered up. So I can erase the part of the lily pad that I covered up. You can erase whatever you covered up. All right, and now we can turn those simple shapes into more complex organic shapes. So for my leg back here, I'm actually going to replace this straight line with a curve that goes up. And this bottom rectangle line I'm going to replace with a curve that goes down. And then I'm going to draw some little feet. So just little curve lines there for his toes. And then I'll erase the original simple shape here. There we go. He has served his purpose, that rectangle. He helped me decide where I wanted it to go and how big I wanted it to be. His job is done. He can go bye-bye. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and do the same thing with this leg, okay? So we can do a curved line on the top and a curved line on the bottom and give our froggy some toes and erase those original lines. Oops, I erased my new line. Okay, there we go. And let's do the same thing for the arms. You guys are doing awesome. Keep up the good work. A little curve on the top, curve on the bottom, and some fingers. The nice thing about drawing animals is you kind of get to practice drawing the leg 4 times, right? Well, most animals. Some animals, I guess, have 2 legs, like birds, huh? All right, and last one. There we go. All right, so that step is done. So the next thing we can do is we can work on our eyes some more. So the next step for our eyes was we've been drawing a circle. This for the white of the eye. And then we can erase inside of there. And then we do the pupil for the eye. So another circle inside. And then we've also been drawing a little circle that kind of overlaps the two, and that's been our shiny part of the eye. And then we can color in the pupil around that shiny part of the eye. And then we've been erasing the bottom part of our first circle. There we go. Just kind of go over this little thing here. Okay. Good, so now the eyes match the other ones, right? Okay, so now we can draw our smile or our mouth. Again, I'm just making the mouth match these. And we can do little upside down teardrops for the nose, or you can do little dots like we did for this one. And if you want to go ahead and do a belly, you can give him a belly. Go around over your lines a little bit if you want. Okay. So my frog ended up looking like he was laying on his lily pad instead of jumping over it. So a little trick you can do if you ever want your drawing, your non-realistic drawing, if you're doing like a more of a cartoon, you can do these little, these are like little quotation marks around it. I'll zoom in so you guys can see. And it just kind of gives him a little bit more movement. And another thing I'll do is I'll just kind of give a little shadow down here. So it looks like there's space between him and the lily pad. If I do a shadow about a finger down, it looks like he's actually jumping up into the air. There we go. That kind of fixed it a little bit. He looks like he's jumping now, huh? Okay. There you go. All right, I think that's... Oh, and then we can add... on our last video, we added little dots to our frog, some specks. So we can do that for this one too if you want. So they match. It's kind of like a family of froggies here. They can have similar character traits. I know you guys learn about character traits in your STEM class. So these two have more similar character traits than this one, right? Maybe this one's a friend. And I don't know if I want this arm to go in all the way. Maybe the belly's a little too... Okay, I think that's good. All right, you guys, that is it for this video here. For some, my belly line kind of like runs into my arm a little bit, so I might adjust that a little bit. But I think that is a good starting point for you guys. And in our next video, we're actually going to get to start coloring. I'm so excited. You guys have worked really, really hard on these drawings. I know we've been drawing for forever on these, but trust me, it'll be all worth it because when you go to color, you'll have an awesome plan with your drawing. So coloring will be more fun because you have this awesome drawing to follow along with, okay? So I'll see you guys in the next video. Good job, everyone.